Human, please save us. We are in pain.
When Rex Varen pried open the Rex airlock, the last thing he expected to find was two shimmering blue women hanging upside down, complaining about how much their restraints hurt, and asking him if he was the new experiment. He'd seen a lot of strange things on the edges of the Andromeda salvage belt. Alien corpses, floating AI heads, once, even a vending machine that begged him not to eat the chips. But this was different. The two aliens were alive, breathing, moaning softly through exhaustion, and to his embarrassment, wearing very little. Rex blinked. Well, this is either my luckiest day, he muttered, or my last. The ship's interior was a disaster of broken consoles and sparking hollow panels. The air smelled faintly metallic, mixed with ozone and something sweet, like burnt sugar. He stepped through the debris, his boots clanking softly on the gridded metal floor. Both women were hanging by sleek metal cuffs connected to the bulkhead, framed by the circular door he'd just cut through. Their blue skin shimmered under the flickering lab lights. One of them, taller, with piercing silver eyes, snarled weakly as he approached. "Stay back, human," she hissed, voice low but strong. "We bite." Her sister, on the other hand, looked him over like she wasn't sure if she wanted to bite or thank him. "Don't be rude, Talara," she said, her tone soft and melodic. "He looks helpful." Rex lifted his visor and smirked. "Helpful's not the word I usually get. More like handsome scavenger with questionable morals." The second sister giggled. Yes, actually giggled, despite being chained to a wall. "Questionable morals are the best kind. Vesra," Talara snapped. "Don't talk to it. It's a he," Vesra corrected. "And he's got tools. And pants. I like both of those things." Rex rubbed the back of his neck. "You two always like this? Or is the oxygen leak making everyone flirty?" Talara glared. "We are Valir, not whatever primitive species you think you've stumbled on." "Relax," Rex said, pulling out a small plasma cutter. "I'm not here to invade your honor or your weird glowing ship. Just salvaging scrap. You, however, are, bonus material." "Bonus?" Vesra tilted her head. "Is that a mating term?" Rex choked on his breath. "What? No!" "It means, never mind. Let's get you loose before your cuffs decide to fry you." The plasma cutter flared, illuminating the confined chamber. Sparks danced across Talara's arm as he sliced through the restraint. She flinched and hissed, glaring at him. "Easy, princess," he said. "You'll be free in a second. Do not call me that." "What?" "Princess? Yes, it implies dependency." "Yeah, well," he said, voice dry. "You're kinda hanging from the ceiling, so depend away." Vesra laughed again. Even upside down, she managed to look at him with a teasing tilt of her head. "He's right, sister. Sometimes it's okay to depend on someone, especially if they're cute." Talara rolled her eyes. "Your hormones are scrambled." "Maybe," Vesra said dreamily. "But if I'm hallucinating, I'm keeping him." When the restraints finally fell free, Talara hit the deck with a grunt and landed on one knee, proud even in exhaustion. Her sister, less gracefully, tumbled right into Rex's chest. "Whoops," she said, blinking up at him with big silver eyes. Soft landing, Rex froze. "That's, not usually how my mornings go." "Oh?" Vesra purred. "How do your mornings go?" Talara growled from the floor. "Vesra, stop purring at the human." Vesra only smiled. "Can't help it. He smells like metal and bad decisions." Rex chuckled. "I'll take that as a compliment." The ship creaked around them. A warning light flashed red. The computer's voice, still somehow operational, sputtered through static. "Structural integrity at 14%. Reactor breach imminent." "Oh, great," Rex muttered. "Now we're flirting under a ticking bomb." Talara pushed herself up, steadying her sister. "We must reach the escape bay." "If it's still functional." "Already on it," Rex said. "My ship's docked just outside the hull. Name's Maggie. Don't judge. She's old, but she runs." Vesra leaned in close, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. "Runs on what?" "Mostly spite and recycled whiskey fumes." Her lips twitched. "Just like you, I imagine." "Exactly." As they made their way through the wreck, Rex noticed how differently the sisters moved. Talara, all precision and pride, scanning every corner with soldier-like focus. Vesra, graceful but curious, touching every broken console, poking glowing buttons like a child tasting rain. "So," Rex said casually, breaking the tense silence, How'd you two end up hanging like alien laundry? Talara stiffened. That information is classified, Vesra hummed. Translation, she doesn't want to admit she crashed the ship. I did not crash it. Talara snapped. It was sabotage. By who? Vesra's grin widened. By her ego. Rex tried not to laugh. You two remind me of a pair of mechanics I knew once. Only a bluer, Vesra smirked. We're not mechanics. We're scientists, Talara added sharply, and warriors. Scientists and warriors. Must make for some intense lab meetings. It does, Vesra said. Sometimes they end in explosions. Sometimes in kisses, Rex coughed. I'll keep that in mind. They reached a control room half buried under debris. Rex brushed off a console and tapped the display. A few panels flickered alive. Good news, he said. Your escape pods are intact. Bad news. They're buried under 2 tons of hull plating. Then we use your ship, Talara said. Sure, he replied, but you'll have to squeeze through a pretty tight airlock. She's built for one. Vesra smiled mischievously. We can fit. I bet you can, Rex muttered before realizing how that sounded. Both sisters raised an eyebrow. What I meant was, structurally speaking. Talara cut him off coldly. You speak too much, human. Yeah, he said, sighing. I get that a lot. The walk to his ship was chaos. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and the reactor core's ominous hum was growing louder. Rex led the way, blasting open sealed doors and shoving aside debris with the efficiency of a man who'd done this far too many times. The sisters followed, one cautious, one playful. Vesra stopped at a shattered viewport, staring out into the vastness of space. It's beautiful, she whispered. Yeah, Rex said, joining her side. Right up until it kills you. You sound like someone who's been hurt, she teased. He gave a short laugh. Lady, I live hurt. It's practically a hobby. Talara's voice interrupted, sharp and commanding. Focus. The human's vessel is close. Finally, they reached Maggie. Rex's battered, half-rusted ship clamped to the wreck like a parasite. The airlock hissed open. Welcome aboard, Rex said, waving an arm dramatically. Mind the smell. Maggie's got character. Vesra inhaled deeply. It smells like sweat, oil, and regret. Rex grinned. See? You get her. Talara, unimpressed, folded her arms. Is this vessel even spaceworthy? Define spaceworthy, Rex replied. Capable of not exploding during launch. Then yes, probably. As the ship detached from the wreck, the explosion of the alien vessel illuminated the void behind them. The blast reflected in their eyes, blue meeting gold in a quiet moment of survival. Vesra turned to Rex and whispered, You saved us. He shrugged. Couldn't just leave you hanging. Talara shot him a cold look. Do not expect gratitude. I wasn't, he said. But I'll take it if you offer. Do not push your luck, human. Vesra leaned close to her sister and whispered loud enough for him to hear. I like him. Of course you do, Talara muttered. You like everything that breathes? Rex pretended not to grin. Ladies, if you're done debating my appeal, I'll show you your quarters, aka the cargo bay. Shared quarters? Vesra asked, eyes glinting. How intimate? Strictly professional, Rex warned. No funny business, Vesra's smile widened. Define funny, he sighed. Oh, this is going to be a long trip. As the stars stretched into the blue tunnel of hyperspace, Rex leaned back in the pilot's chair, glancing at the reflection of the 2 alien sisters behind him, one glaring, one smiling. He couldn't decide which one was more dangerous, maybe both, and somehow he knew this was only the beginning. Rex Varen had survived plasma storms, bounty hunters, and a one-night stand with a telepath who could read his browser. History, but nothing prepared him for 2 blue women wandering around his ship in half-torn armor asking about his human mating customs. He'd barely strapped Maggie into autopilot before chaos began. The first sound came from behind him, a hiss, then a clang. He spun around and found Vesra halfway inside a storage cabinet, legs sticking out, humming cheerfully. Vesra, he groaned. What are you doing? Exploring, came the muffled reply. Your ship has fascinating smells, he frowned. That's not something I usually hear as a compliment. She wriggled out of the cabinet holding a cracked energy cell. This was leaking. I fixed it, Rex blinked. You what? Talara strode in, her posture still regal despite her tattered state. She touched your reactor core. Relax, Vestra said innocently. I just stabilized the containment flow. You had a feedback loop. Very inefficient. Rex crossed his arms. You hacked my ship. I saved your ship. She flashed a grin. You're welcome. Tahlara scowled. Stop showing off. I wasn't showing off. Vesra tilted her head. He looked impressed. Rex coughed. I was more terrified. Terrified and impressed? She teased. That's a good start. The ship hummed softly as they entered the inner deck. Rex led them to a small compartment, his version of guest quarters. Here, he said, opening the sliding door. It's not exactly a 5-star suite, but it's warm, has gravity, and doesn't smell like dead circuitry. Vesra peeked inside. It smells like you. That's worse, actually. She smiled, unbothered. I don't mind it. Tahlara folded her arms. Do you always invite strangers into your vessel, human? Only the pretty ones. Talara's glare could have melted titanium. You think flattery will earn you trust? No, Rex said casually. But it sometimes earns cooperation. Vesra laughed softly. You really are dangerous. Not half as dangerous as the company I keep, he muttered. They sat down, or rather Rex did. The sisters remained standing, watching him with an unnerving stillness that reminded him of apex predators deciding whether to eat or flirt with their prey. He sighed. Okay, ground rules. You're on my ship, which means you follow my rules. Tahlara raised an eyebrow. Rules? Rule 1, don't touch the reactor. Vesra already did. Exactly why it's Rule 1. He ticked off his fingers. Rule 2, don't press any glowing buttons unless you're ready for loud noises or explosions. Vesra raised her hand. What about glowing humans? Rex blinked. Excuse me? She smiled slyly. Your face glowed red when I said your smell was nice. Tahlara groaned. Sister, please. Just collecting data, Vesra said. For science. Rex decided to change the subject. Look, I risked my neck pulling you out of that wreck. So how about you tell me what really happened? Tahlara hesitated. We were part of an interstellar research mission. Studying human biology, he blinked. Wait, humans? You were studying us? Yes, she said flatly. Our species was curious about your adaptability, your physical resilience, Vesra added with a smirk, and your reproductive versatility. Rex coughed violently. Your what? Tahlara shot her sister a look that could kill. Do not elaborate. But he asked, do not. Vesra's grin widened. Fine, but he looks like he has excellent samples. Rex threw up his hands. I'm surrounded by lunatics. Tahlara ignored him. We were sabotaged mid-transit. Someone planted a virus in our navigation AI. The crash was intentional. Rex frowned. So you've got enemies. Everyone has enemies, Tahlara said darkly. Ours just have better aim. He leaned back in his chair, studying them both. You said you're scientists, but you fight like soldiers. That's not a common mix, Vesra shrugged. Knowledge without power is boring. Talara's tone softened slightly. Our world trains us in both. To understand life, you must be able to protect it. Rex smirked. Cute philosophy. Sounds like something I'd see on a poster in a space gym. Vesra giggled. We could make you a new one. With your face on it, Tahlara added dryly. Captioned, Reckless Human, Caution, Flammable. He grinned. You're warming up to me. I'm not. You're arguing. That's foreplay in some systems. Her glare said, don't push your luck. After a long silence, Rex stood. All right, you two can rest here. I'll check the sensors. Make sure no one followed your distress signal. Wait, Vesra said softly. You're just going to leave us alone? Would you rather I stay? He asked. Her smile was immediate. Yes. Tahlara muttered something in her native tongue that probably translated to please vaporize me now. But Rex hesitated. Her tone wasn't teasing anymore. It was soft, uncertain. He exhaled. All right, but I don't bite. Pity, Vesra murmured. Tahlara rubbed her temples. By the stars, this is intolerable. Minutes later, Maggie drifted quietly through deep space. The hum of the engines filled the silence. Rex sat in the cockpit, scanning nearby sectors, trying not to think about the two aliens behind him, and failing miserably. They were too strange. Too vivid. The way they looked at him wasn't like other species. It wasn't curiosity. It was study. He wasn't sure if they wanted to thank him. Or dissect him. Can't sleep? A voice purred behind him. Rex turned to find Vesra leaning against the doorway, arms crossed. her silhouette glowing faintly under the cockpit lights. He cleared his throat. "Do you aliens have a concept of personal space?" "Of course," she said, stepping closer. "We just don't respect it." She perched on the edge of the console, dangerously close to the flight controls. "Your ship is small," she said. "You must get lonely," I manage. "How?" Mostly sarcasm, she smiled. "Does it work?" "Sometimes. Usually when I'm not talking to someone who could probably bench press me." Vesra tilted her head. "You think I could?" He looked her over. "You definitely could." She laughed low and melodic. "You're honest?" "I like that." Before he could respond, Talara's voice cut in from the corridor. "Vesra, stop interrogating the human." Vesra sighed. "I wasn't interrogating. I was researching his face." Among other things, Talara appeared, arms folded, looking thoroughly unimpressed. "You are a disgrace to our species, and you're allergic to fun." Rex pinched the bridge of his nose. "Do you two do this all the time?" "Yes," Talara said. "Every cycle," Vesra added cheerfully. He groaned. "I should have left you hanging." Vesra's grin turned playful. "You still can if you miss the view." Rex blinked. "Okay, you win." "That's, impressive," Talara sighed. Humans, always easily distracted. They spent the next few hours in uneasy companionship. Rex showed them how to use the rehydrator, the sleeping bunks, and the hygiene pod. Vesra was delighted by everything. She stuck her head under the rehydrator beam, declared it ticklish, and nearly dismantled the hygiene pod to understand the sonic frequency. Talara followed, fixing everything her sister broke, muttering under her breath. "Are all humans this disorganized?" she asked. "Only the charming ones," Rex said. "So, most of you?" "Exactly." Later, as the ship dimmed into sleep mode, Rex found himself alone again, except for the faint sounds of the sisters talking in the next compartment. He shouldn't have been able to understand them, but his translator implant caught fragments of their conversation. "He's different," Vesra whispered. "He's reckless," Talara replied. "He risked himself for strangers, for salvage." "You don't believe that?" "No," Talara admitted softly. "I don't." Rex leaned back, staring at the ceiling. He didn't know whether to feel proud or worried that he was getting attached to aliens who could probably crush him with one hand. Hours later, a low alarm woke him. He rushed to the console, sensor pings lighting up red. Talara appeared instantly, her instincts sharp. "What is it?" "Unidentified signal," Rex said. "Someone's tracking your ship's transponder." Her eyes widened. "They found us." "Who?" "Valir Security." She grimaced. "They'll assume you abducted us." Vesra peeked from the corridor, sleepy but smiling. "Then we'll have to prove him innocent," Rex sighed. "And how do we do that?" Vesra smiled sweetly. "By pretending he's our mate," Talara froze. "Absolutely not. It's the only way they won't vaporize him on sight," Vesra argued. Rex's eyes went wide. "Wait, what now?" Vesra looked at him, eyes glinting with playful sincerity. "Relax, human. It's just for show," Talara muttered. "You're enjoying this far too much." Vesra winked. "Oh, sister, you have no idea." Rex Varen had one rule when dealing with aliens. Never agree to anything you don't fully understand. That rule went straight out the airlock the moment Vesra smiled at him and said, "You'll just have to pretend you're our mate." Hook. Rex didn't know what pretending to be a Valir mate meant. He figured it was like acting married, maybe hold hands, look affectionate. He was wrong. So wrong. Within 10 minutes, his ship's cockpit looked like an intergalactic soap opera. A massive holographic transmission flickered to life. 2 Valir security officers appeared, tall, blue, armored, and very, very unimpressed. Their faces were the exact opposite of romantically amused. The older officer barked, "Identify yourselves." "This vessel has been linked to a restricted crash site." Talara stepped forward, back straight, voice sharp. "Commander Talara Valir, Research Division. This human retrieved us after sabotage destroyed our ship." The officer's eyes narrowed. "And the human?" Before Talara could speak, Vesra cut in smoothly. "He's my mate." Rex froze mid-step. "I'm what?" Vesra squeezed his arm like she was guiding a clueless actor. "Smile, dear. They're watching." Rex blinked, then managed something that could generously be described as a smile. It looked more like a man trying to pass a kidney stone. The officer's eyes glowed faintly, scanning him. "You bonded with a human?" "Yes." Vesra said proudly, wrapping her arm tighter around Rex. It's very progressive of me, isn't it? Talara pinched the bridge of her nose. By the moons, Vesra, the officer interrupted. This is highly irregular. Valir mating is sacred, Rex coughed. Don't worry. I'm a very sacred guy, Vesra whispered. Stop talking. Gladly. The officers began muttering in their language. The hologram flickered as they ran scans. Rex leaned toward Talara. Okay, what exactly do they think a mate is? She didn't look at him. Someone who has undergone the Valir bonding ritual. Which is? A neural and physical synchronization. Sounds fancy. Painful? Vesra smiled sweetly. Not if you do it right, Rex swallowed. That didn't sound reassuring. Suddenly, one of the officers turned back to the camera. Verification required. Verification? Rex asked. Vesra nodded solemnly. They want to see the bond. See? Like a certificate or something. No. Her eyes gleamed mischievously. More like proof of affection. Rex blinked. Define proof. Before he could finish, Vesra spun, grabbed his face, and kissed him, hard. The hologram fizzled slightly as both officers made synchronized noises of disgust. Talara actually gasped. Vesra. Vesra broke the kiss and smiled at the screen. Satisfied? The older officer's expression was unreadable. We'll verify your statement later. Then, mercifully, the transmission cut. Silence. Rex blinked several times, still dazed. That was not in the job description. Vesra looked innocent. You're welcome. For what? Assaulting me for galactic peace? Talara's voice was ice. That was unnecessary. Oh, please, Vesra said. They'd have blown us up if I hadn't made it convincing. Rex, still trying to get his heartbeat under control, muttered, Convincing? I think my translator's still buffering from that. Vesra turned toward him, tilting her head. You're blushing, he groaned. I'm overheating. Same thing. Later, after the comms were silent, the argument started. Talara was pacing the corridor like a furious teacher. You compromised our dignity. The Valir will exile us for this. Vesra shrugged. I prefer exile to being vaporized. Plus, she grinned. He didn't seem to mind. Rex raised his hands. Let's be clear, I'm an unwilling prop in this alien drama. Prop? Vesra gasped in mock offense. You're the star. Talara stopped pacing. Enough. We must plan what comes next. What comes next, Rex said, is me getting my ship out of Valir sensor range before your people decide I'm a kidnapping suspect and a bad kisser. You're not a bad kisser, Vesra said automatically. Then she blinked. Scientifically speaking, Talara glared. Vesra, Rex pointed between them. You two argue like a married couple. We're sisters, Talara snapped. Explains a lot. The next few hours were chaos. Again. Vesra tried to help by recalibrating Maggie's sensor grid. The ship immediately started playing random pop songs from Rex's Old Earth playlist. Talara scolded her. Rex laughed so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. Why does your ship keep saying "Shake it, baby" one more time? Talara demanded. It's, an ancient Earth combat hymn, Rex said straight-faced. Vesra smiled. I like it. It has rhythm, Rex grinned. You should see the dance. She tilted her head. Show me, he blinked. Now? Now, Talara crossed her arms. This is absurd. But before she could stop him, Rex stood, stretched, and, half ironically, started doing the ridiculous old pop dance from memory. Vesra clapped her hands, laughing. Oh, stars, he's serious. Dead serious, Rex said between moves. This is how humans summon courage. Or embarrassment, Talara muttered. Vesra joined in, mimicking his movements perfectly but with far more grace. The two of them spun around the cockpit while Talara stood by, horrified yet secretly fighting a smile. See? Rex said breathlessly. Cross-cultural bonding. It's educational and humiliating. Vesra laughed so hard she fell into his arms. You're ridiculous. He caught her easily. You're welcome, Talara sighed. Both of you are insufferable. That night, or what passed for night on a ship with artificial cycles, the atmosphere changed. Rex found Talara alone in the observation bay, staring at the stars. For once she looked less like a warrior and more like someone lost. He approached quietly. Couldn't sleep either? She didn't turn around. Vesra dreams too loudly. Yeah, she snores like a malfunctioning engine. A soft laugh escaped her, barely audible. You notice everything. Occupational hazard. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the stars drift by. Then she asked softly, "Why did you help us?" He shrugged. "You were chained up in a wreck. Kinda hard to ignore. You risked your life. I've done dumber things for less beautiful company." She glanced at him sharply. "Flattery again." "Observation," he corrected. "My translator doesn't do lies." She hesitated. "You are strange, human." "Thanks. I try." She turned fully toward him now, eyes glowing faintly silver. "You joke often. Why?" "Because if I stop joking," he said quietly, "I'll start remembering." "Remembering what?" "The people I didn't save." Her expression softened, and for the first time, her voice carried warmth instead of command. "You carry ghosts, don't we all?" She looked away again, silent. Then, after a pause, she said, "Vesra wasn't wrong about one thing." "Oh?" "You are." "Difficult to ignore," Rex smiled faintly. "I'll put that on my tombstone." The next morning, chaos returned like clockwork. Vesra found the ship's coffee replicator. Human fuel, she called it. Then she drank an entire pot. 10 minutes later, she was sprinting laps through the cargo bay, babbling about how time feels bendy and gravity is a lie. Talara glared at Rex. "What did you feed her?" "Caffeine. Is it lethal?" "Only emotionally." While Vesra buzzed around like a hyperactive comet, Rex and Talara worked at the console, planning how to contact a neutral station for supplies. Their hands brushed once, by accident, and both froze. Her eyes darted up to his. "Do not read into that." "Too late," he said with a grin. "Human." She warned, "Yes." "Stop smiling." "Can't." She sighed in defeat. "You are infuriating. I've been called worse." Later, while calibrating navigation, the comms crackled, another transmission incoming. The same Velir officer appeared again, looking suspicious. "You claim bonding," he said coldly. "Yet scans show no neural link," Rex whispered. "That's because we faked it." Vesra smiled sweetly. That's because human bonding rituals differ." "Much slower. More emotional." The officer frowned. "Emotional?" "Yes," Vesra said, grabbing Rex's hand. "We begin with touch, then shared heartbeats, then sinking breath." Rex blinked. "We do?" "Play along," she hissed through her smile. The officer leaned in, intrigued. "Prove it." Vesra looked at Rex. "Breathe with me." Okay?" She pressed her palm to his chest. "Now inhale." Slowly. Talara groaned audibly in the background. Vesra whispered, "You're doing well, dear. Please stop calling me dear. Would you prefer mate?" "Neither." The officer's expression shifted between disgust and confusion. "Enough, I have seen more than required." The transmission cut again. When silence returned, Talara looked ready to strangle them both. "This farce cannot continue," she snapped. Vesra leaned back, smiling. "You're just jealous they believed us and not you." "I am not jealous." Rex snorted. "That sounded like jealousy." Silence. Vesra giggled. "She blushes when she's angry," Rex grinned. "I noticed." Talara glared at both. "I should have let the ship explode." "You're welcome," they said in unison. That evening, when the adrenaline faded, the three of them shared a quiet dinner. Reheated protein cubes, recycled air, and awkward companionship. Rex raised a cup. "To surviving another day of interspecies nonsense." Vesra clinked her cup. "To my excellent acting skills," Talara reluctantly joined. "To the faint hope of regaining sanity," Rex smirked. "Cheers to that." They drank, and for the first time, laughter filled Maggie without tension behind it. The hum of the ship was the only thing that dared to make a sound. Even the air recycler, normally a constant faint whir, seemed to hold its breath. Rex sat at the table in Maggie's galley, half a mug of reheated synth coffee in his hand. Across from him, Talara was sharpening a knife she clearly didn't need to sharpen. And down the corridor, Vesra was pretending to fix something that didn't exist. They weren't fighting. They were pretending not to fight, which was much worse. It had started 2 nights ago. A flicker of light, a near collision with an asteroid, and somehow, somewhere between ducking plasma debris and shouting coordinates, Rex had accidentally grabbed Vesra's hand. She didn't pull away. Talara saw it. And though she didn't say a word, Rex had seen her jaw tighten. Her shoulders go tense, like a hunter who'd just seen someone else touch her weapon. Since then, everything had changed. The jokes had turned into jabs, the casual smiles into tight smirks, and every time Rex tried to speak, both sisters found convenient excuses to leave the room. When Talara finally broke the silence, it was with her trademark precision. "You recalibrated the gravity compensator wrong." Rex looked up, blinking. "Pretty sure I didn't." "You did," she said flatly, running a scanner over the control board. "It's reading 0.93 instead of 0.95. Sloppy." "Right," he said, sipping his coffee. "Guess next time I'll ask your approval before touching the shiny buttons." Her gaze lifted sharply. "You should," and there it was, that spark. Not just irritation, jealousy. The kind that made her sentences come out sharper, her posture straighter. Rex couldn't help the smirk tugging at his lips. "You know, if you wanted my attention, you could have just said so." Talara's expression didn't change. "Don't flatter yourself, human. You're just a distraction." "Oh, I'm honored," Rex said dryly. "From a woman who literally pulled me out of an exploding ship last week." Her knife clicked back into its sheath. "That was before you started flirting with my sister." There it was. The bomb dropped so casually it nearly stopped the ship's engine. Down the hall, a metallic clang echoed. Vesra had clearly overheard. "Flirting?" she called out. "Is that what we're calling teamwork now?" Talara shot up from her seat. "You call holding his hand teamwork?" Rex groaned. "Ladies, stay out of this," they said in perfect sync. He leaned back, muttering. "Sure, just the guy you're both arguing about, but yeah, I'll stay out of it." The two sisters squared off. For all their physical similarities, the blue skin, silver eyes, and the faint bioluminescent markings that glowed when they got emotional, their personalities were day and night. Talara, disciplined, cautious, strategic. Vesra, impulsive, bold, dangerously curious. It was like watching two sides of a storm argue over who got to strike first. "You don't even know what you're doing," Talara said, voice low and tight. "He's a human. They break everything they touch." Vesra's chin lifted. "Maybe that's why you like him too." That landed like a pulse grenade. Talara's eyes widened, just for a second, before her mask returned. "Don't be ridiculous. Then why are you jealous?" "I'm not." "You are?" Rex stood up. "Okay, time out before someone starts throwing plasma cutters." "Quiet!" They both shouted again. He sighed. "Yeah, I definitely deserve hazard pay." It went on for an hour. Accusations, denials, a few creative insults that probably sounded much worse in Valyrian. Finally, Vesra stomped out, her footsteps echoing down the corridor. Talara stayed, her shoulders tight, her breathing shallow. Rex leaned against the wall. "You know, in human terms, this is called a love triangle." "Then redraw it," she snapped. "Can't," he said with a crooked grin. "It's geometry's fault." "Not mine." She turned to glare at him, but her expression softened halfway. Something in his voice, genuine warmth beneath the teasing, made her stop. "Why are you like this?" She murmured. "Because if I stop joking," he said, "I'll remember how close we came to dying back there, and how easily I could lose either of you." Her jaw trembled slightly. That wasn't a line. It was the truth. For a long moment, they just stood there. Her breathing slowed. His hand hovered between them, hesitant, unsure. Finally, she whispered, "You're infuriating." He smiled faintly. "Yeah, you've mentioned that." She looked away, fighting a smile of her own. "And you keep proving me right." He chuckled. "Hey, consistency's important." Something cracked between them then, not anger but tension. The wall that had built up over days of silence started to crumble. A sharp alarm blared from the console. Rex turned to see a blinking red message flash across the holo display. Bounty alert. Human. Rex Varen. Classified genetic anomaly. 12,000. Star creds. Alive. The silence that followed was deafening. Rex stared at the message, then slowly looked back at Talara. "Well," he said with a grim half-smile. "Guess I finally made the big leagues." Vesra reappeared at the doorway, pale. "That's your DNA signature. They're saying you caused the reactor implosion." "Me? I can barely fix a coffee machine." Talara looked down, voice cold. "It doesn't matter if it's true." "They'll hunt you now," Rex shrugged. "Wouldn't be the first time." "Don't joke," she hissed. "This isn't funny." "I know," he said quietly. But if I don't laugh, I'll panic. Hours passed. They barely spoke. The sisters argued quietly in Valyrian, and Rex pretended not to understand. But he caught fragments. Dangerous, trust, attachment. He doesn't belong here. Eventually, he stood, unable to take it anymore. If you want to turn me in, he said, voice steady. I'll understand. That stopped them both. Vesra's eyes went wide. Don't you dare say that. Talara's expression flickered. Fear, confusion, guilt. He continued, I'm not dragging you into this mess. I already owe you both too much. Vesra moved forward, shaking her head. We're not betraying you. Talara looked away. You'd risk both our lives for a man you barely know? Yes, Vesra said simply. Talara flinched at the honesty of it. The air between them went still again. Then Talara asked softly, And what is he to you, sister? Vesra's voice trembled. He's mine, Rex blinked. Hold on, let's unpack that. But it was too late. Talara turned sharply, her mask cracking. I see, she said, voice trembling. Then you've made your choice. Don't do that, Vesra whispered. Do what? Push us away when you're scared. Talara froze, lips parting. No retort came. For the first time, she looked truly human. Vulnerable. Rex stepped between them, voice calm. Stop, both of you. They looked up at him like twin storms meeting a mountain. You're not enemies, he said quietly. You're family. You've saved me more times than I can count. And whatever happens, I'm not running. Talara's eyes softened. You don't understand how dangerous this is. Maybe not, Rex admitted. But I do understand what loyalty looks like. You two taught me that. Vesra smiled faintly, her glow brightening along her cheekbones. For the first time, Talara didn't look angry. She looked lost, like someone who'd forgotten how to feel safe. When the ship dimmed for night cycle, none of them could sleep. Rex sat in the cockpit, watching the faint hum of starlight pass by. Then he heard soft footsteps. Talara leaned against the doorway. Arms folded. You always sit up like this? She asked quietly. Only when my life's a mess, he said. She walked over, sitting beside him. Then you must sit here often, he smirked. You have no idea. Silence again, but this time it wasn't awkward. It was soft. Talara spoke first. When I first saw you, I thought you were a liability. An emotional, reckless, loud creature who would get us all killed. Rex chuckled. That's a fair assessment. But then, she continued, you kept trying, even when you had nothing to gain. You helped fix the ship, risked yourself for us, made Vesra laugh for the first time since the crash. She trailed off, her voice thinning. Rex tilted his head. And you? Talara smiled faintly. You made me angry, which means you made me feel something again. That hit harder than she probably meant it to. He turned to her, the glow of the stars catching her silver eyes. You know, he murmured, you're a lot more beautiful when you're not threatening me. She smirked. And you're more tolerable when you're not talking. He laughed quietly. Guess we're making progress. They sat like that for a while, two unlikely beings, drifting through a galaxy that had no place for either of them. Finally, Talara whispered, You should get some rest. Only if you stay here, he said softly. She didn't move away. Outside, the stars stretched on forever. Inside, 3 hearts, 2 alien, 1 human, beat to the same uncertain rhythm. The next morning, when Vesra joined them at the console, she found them asleep. Rex slumped in the chair, Talara leaning against his shoulder. She smiled, then rolled her eyes. Finally, when Rex stirred, Vesra handed him a datapad. You were right. The bounty trace came from the same network that enslaved us. They framed you to draw us out, Rex grinned. So I'm officially a wanted man. Feels like home. Talara smacked his arm. Don't be proud of that, Vesra giggled. I like it when he's bad, Talara groaned. Of course you do. Rex looked between them, chuckling. Well, ladies. Sounds like we're in this together. They exchanged a look, wary, amused, united. Together, Talara said finally. As the ship launched into hyperspace, Rex turned to the sisters and grinned. You know, most humans don't get along with one alien. I must be some kind of overachiever. Vesra nudged him playfully. Or just very, very unlucky. Talara sighed. Let's go with unlucky. Rex laughed, leaning back in his chair. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. The alarms wailed like angry ghosts. Red lights flashed across the corridor, washing everything in crimson panic. "Vesra!" Rex yelled, ducking as the ship shuddered under impact. "Please tell me that sound means lunch is ready." Vesra's voice echoed back from engineering. "If lunch smells like burning plasma and regret, then yes, it's ready." He sprinted down the narrow hallway, slamming his hand on the door panel. The cockpit door hissed open to reveal Talara, calm as ever, fingers flying over the controls like she was conducting an orchestra made of explosions. "Report," he barked. "Pirates," she said evenly. Two ships, both faster, both armed, both apparently having a bad day. He grinned. "Guess we'll make it worse." Talara didn't look up. "Please refrain from heroics." "Can't promise that." She sighed, one of those long, elegant sighs that said, "Why do I work with humans again?" Vesra stumbled in, hands covered in grease and half a cookie hanging out of her mouth. "We're running hot, boss. One more hit to the reactor and we'll glow like a festival lantern." Rex took the pilot seat, cracked his knuckles, and muttered, "All right, baby girl, don't fail me now." Talara glanced sideways. "Talking to me or the ship?" He winked. "Both. Then I might fail you on purpose," he smirked. "Worth it." The first volley hit. The ship jolted so hard that Vesra face-planted into a console. "Ow! I think I just kissed technology." "Careful," Rex said, jerking the yoke. "She's possessive." They dove between two asteroid fragments, barely scraping through. Laser fire chased them like angry fireworks. Talara's voice stayed calm despite the chaos. "You can't dodge forever." "Who said I'm dodging?" "Oh no," Vesra groaned. "He's got that tone again." "What tone?" Talara asked. "The crazy plan tone?" Rex's grin widened. "Exactly that one." He cut the engines, sending the ship drifting dead silent. The pirates' scanners screamed confusion. Talara's eyes narrowed. "You just killed our thrusters." "Yep." "Explain." "Ever heard of ghost drifting?" Vesra gasped. "You mean the trick that got you banned from the Terran Academy?" "Technically suspended," he corrected. "For style points." Talara crossed her arms. "And the plan is?" "Wait for them to overshoot, then light them up when they're blind." She raised an eyebrow. "Reckless, suicidal, irrational, yeah," he said. "But it'll work." A minute passed. The pirate ship swept by, searching, scanning. Rex whispered, "Now!" The Maggie roared back to life. Plasma cannons fired point blank. The first pirate ship exploded into a brilliant orange blossom of debris. Vesra whooped, "Yes! One crispy criminal served!" The second ship turned, furious. Talara calmly adjusted the targeting. "Allow me." Her finger brushed the trigger, and the second ship vanished in a silent bloom of light. Rex whistled low. "Remind me never to make you mad." "Noted," she said. "Now fix your flying hair before I lose respect for you." He laughed. "I didn't think you had any." "Exactly." Silence returned, broken only by the hum of damaged engines. Vesra collapsed in the co-pilot seat. "Remind me why I joined you, idiots?" "Because you love us," Rex said. She groaned. "Unfortunately true." Talara stood, brushing imaginary dust off her suit. "Status?" "Alive," Rex said. "Ship's wounded. Crew's beautiful. Mission still stupid." She gave him a look that was half annoyance, half something else. "You never take anything seriously." He leaned back. "Sure I do. I take you seriously." Her lips parted slightly, then she rolled her eyes. "That's not helping." Hours later, the chaos had quieted. They drifted near a nebula, its purple glow reflecting off the cockpit glass like spilled ink. Vesra was asleep in the back, curled up in a heap of cables and snacks. Rex stood near the viewport, staring into the slow swirl of stars. Talara joined him quietly. "You did good out there," she said. He smiled faintly. "You mean we didn't die?" "Yeah, that's my specialty." "I mean it," she said softly. "You saved us." "Wasn't just me." She tilted her head. "You always deflect compliments. And you always hide behind logic." That made her pause. He turned, leaning against the console. "Talara, when you said you didn't trust humans, you meant it, right?" "I've seen what your kind can do," she said. "To each other. To mine." He nodded slowly. "And yet here we are." She looked away. "Maybe I'm tired of running from things I don't understand." Rex stepped closer, close enough that her reflection blurred with his in the glass. "Then stop running." Her breath caught. "You think it's that simple?" "Nothing ever is," he said. "But it's a start." For a long time, there was only the sound of the ship's heartbeat, the low hum of power coursing through steel. Then, quietly, Talara said, "You risked everything for me today." He shrugged. "Wasn't a big deal." "It was," he smiled. "You'd have done the same." Her gaze flicked up to his. "Maybe, but not with a smile," he chuckled. "That's the difference between humans and everyone else. We laugh when we should cry." She stared at him a long moment. "And you think that makes you strong?" He met her eyes. "No, it just makes us keep going." Vesra's voice suddenly echoed from behind them. "Wow, emotional tension much?" Both turned to see her leaning in the doorway, holding a wrench like a microphone. "I swear you two could power the reactor with your unresolved feelings." Talara straightened instantly. "Shouldn't you be asleep?" Vesra grinned. "I was. But the romantic energy field woke me up." Rex laughed. "Go to bed, Gremlin." "Fine," she said dramatically. "But if you confess your love while I'm gone, I expect a recording." Talara muttered. "She's unbearable." Rex smirked. She learned from the best. After Vesra disappeared, Talara stayed by the glass, her arms folded. "You humans," she said quietly. "You never stop pushing." He raised a brow. "Is that a complaint or a compliment?" "I haven't decided," he chuckled. "Then let me help you." Before she could respond, the ship shuddered again, just once, softly. Not an attack, just turbulence from the nebula, but it was enough to make her stumble slightly, and his hand caught hers. For a moment, neither moved. Her pulse quickened against his palm. "Careful," he murmured. "Gravity's tricky out here." She didn't pull away. "So is you." Something changed in that instant. The air felt heavier, slower, charged. He didn't joke this time. He just looked at her. Really looked. And for once she didn't hide behind logic or orders or rank. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "I said don't fall for me." "I didn't," he said softly. "I dove." She almost smiled. "You're impossible, and yet," he murmured. She exhaled, long and slow, the fight leaving her shoulders. And yet, they stayed like that, neither willing to break the moment. Outside, the nebula rippled, painting them in violet and silver light. Rex finally said, "You know, if you keep looking at me like that, I might do something heroic again." "Please don't," he grinned. "You'd miss it." "Unfortunately, you're right." From somewhere deeper in the ship, Vesra's sleepy voice drifted out. "If you two start kissing, please don't do it near the oxygen recycler again. It gets jealous." Talara groaned. "Why do we bring her?" "Comic relief," Rex said. "Or chaos." "Both," he replied. "But she's family." Talara looked at him. "And what am I?" He hesitated, then said quietly, "The reason I keep surviving." That stopped her. Completely. No witty comeback. No sarcasm. Just silence, and something dangerous blooming in her chest. Finally, she said, "Your trouble, human." He smiled. "Yeah, but I'm your trouble." Her lips twitched. "We'll see. Is that a challenge?" "It's survival," she said. "And maybe something else." Before he could ask what, she turned and walked out, her voice soft but clear. "Don't make me regret it." He watched her go, the nebula light fading behind her. Then he leaned back against the console, exhaling deeply. "Too late," he whispered, smiling to himself. "Already done," the Maggie hummed softly, carrying its crew of 3 misfits into the endless dark. Vesra snored faintly through the corridor. Talara pretended not to feel anything, and Rex, for the first time in years, felt like he'd found somewhere to belong, somewhere between laughter, chaos, and the edge of danger. The morning after the chaos felt wrong, too quiet. No alarms, no plasma leaks, no sarcastic alien sisters threatening to eject him out the nearest airlock. Rex woke in the pilot's chair, head tilted back, neck sore, and one of Vesra's blankets draped over him like a truce flag. The cockpit lights were dim, the hum of the ship steady again. He groaned. "Still alive? Huh, that's a first." From behind him, a sleepy voice answered. "Barely." He turned. Talara, standing in the doorway, hair mussed, expression unreadable. She was holding a steaming cup of something that smelled suspiciously like fuel mixed with regret. Rex raised an eyebrow. "Breakfast or poison?" She sipped. "Both. Good," he said. "Keeps me guessing." They stared out the viewport together, watching the nebula's purple haze fade into the black. "So," he said finally, Any chance the pirates didn't broadcast our position? Talara shook her head. Slim, the bounty will double by dawn. Guess we better move before dawn. Guess you better start fixing the reactor. He grinned. You ordering me around now? Her lips curved, barely. You respond better to authority than affection. He leaned closer. You sure about that? 80%. I'll take those odds. A clang echoed from below deck, followed by a string of curses that sounded more creative than technical. Vesra! Rex yelled down the hatch. What did you break this time? Her voice echoed back. Nothing important. Just gravity! A second later the floor shifted and Rex floated half a meter off the ground. Told you! Vesra's voice sang. Talara pinched the bridge of her nose. Remind me to disable her next upgrade session. Rex laughed, arms drifting lazily. Aw, come on. 0G bonding time. Talara glared. If you make one more pun about floating feelings, I'll personally introduce you to space. He winked. You'd miss me. Debatable. Vesra popped up through the hatch, hair wild, holding a glowing panel that was definitely sparking. Good news. Gravity's coming back in 5 seconds. Bad news? Talara asked. It might come back at triple strength. Wait, what? Boom! Everyone slammed to the floor at once. Rex groaned. Well, that was grounding. Vesra giggled. Get it? Grounding? Talara just stared at both of them, completely done with existing. An hour later, with gravity restored and dignity semi-repaired, the three sat around the ship's mess table, a dented metal slab held together by stubbornness and tape. Vesra was humming while cleaning her tools. Talara was scrolling through intercepted bounty pings. Rex was pretending not to stare at her reflection in the monitor. So, he said, breaking the silence. What's the plan now? Talara answered without looking up. We lay low, fix the reactor, find a neutral port. Vesra chimed in. And get snacks. Snacks aren't a priority, Talara replied. They're my priority. Rex smirked. She's got a point. A hungry Vesra is a dangerous Vesra. I'm adorable and you know it, Vesra said, tossing a wrench like a baton. You're chaos in cute form. She grinned. Same thing. The ship's lights flickered again. Rex sighed. Okay, that's it. I'm putting the Maggie on the emotional damage list. Talara raised an eyebrow. Alongside who else? He grinned. Every woman I've ever met. She didn't laugh, but the corners of her mouth twitched. Your sense of humor is the only thing keeping you alive. That and my jawline, he said. Wrong again. Then what is it? Stupidity, she said dryly. It confuses your enemies. A quiet moment settled between them. The kind that felt both safe and dangerous. Rex leaned back, arms folded. You know, you two could have left me behind when the bounty went out. Talara didn't look up. We considered it. Vesra piped in. I voted no. Rex smiled. Thanks, kid. Not a kid, she said. Just morally flexible. He laughed. You're learning from the best. Talara finally looked up, her gaze sharp. Don't encourage her. Too late, Vesra said proudly. He's my bad influence. Rex saluted, happy to serve. Later, while Talara checked navigation and Vesra napped in a hammock of wires, Rex sat alone in the engine bay. He looked at his hands, rough, calloused, human, then at the faint blue smear of alien tech on his sleeves. From where he'd dragged Talara and Vesra out of that wreck weeks ago, he didn't understand how it happened. How two alien sisters, one logical, one chaotic, had turned a broken scavenger into something almost whole again. Maybe, he thought, that was the human trick all along, to keep laughing, even when the universe was falling apart. A soft voice broke his thoughts. You're brooding again. He looked up. Talara stood in the doorway, arms crossed, one eyebrow raised. Just thinking, he said. That's dangerous, he chuckled. Not as dangerous as you. She stepped closer, eyes glinting in the dim light. You're not wrong. He tilted his head. You always this honest at midnight? Only with people who annoy me. Good, he said. I'd hate to be special. You already are, she said quietly. The words hung between them like gravity gone wrong. He blinked. Say that again? Don't make me, she warned, but her tone was softer now. You'll get arrogant. He smiled. Too late for that. Talara shook her head, but the faintest smirk tugged at her lips. Human arrogance. A universal constant. Hey, he said, if you can calculate it. You can rely on it. Maybe that's why you keep surviving. Maybe that's why you keep me around. Maybe, she said. Then, quietly she added, or maybe because you make my sister laugh. He laughed softly. And you? What about me? Do I make you laugh? She looked down, then met his gaze. Not yet, he smiled. Challenge accepted. Before he could say another word, the lights dimmed. Again, Rex groaned. Vesra! From the vents came her muffled voice. Don't worry. I just rerouted power to the music system. A beat of silence. Then a low, ancient Terran jazz track started echoing through the ship. Rex blinked. You play this? Vesra called back. Talara said humans like background music when they flirt. Talara froze. I said no such thing. Rex grinned. Too late, Doc. The jazz filled the air. Slow, playful, impossible to ignore. Talara glared at the ceiling. Turn it off. Vesra's voice. Nope. Let the tension marinate. Rex laughed so hard he nearly dropped his wrench. Talara's face flushed, a rare, perfect sight. Your kind is insufferable. He leaned closer, grin wide. You say that like it's a bad thing. Her voice dropped. It is. Then why aren't you walking away? She didn't answer. The music swelled, and in that flickering light between laughter and danger and exhaustion, she did something reckless. She kissed him. It wasn't soft. It wasn't slow. It was everything they'd been holding back since that wreck. Confusion, anger, attraction, exhaustion, all colliding at once. When she finally pulled away, her voice was steady but her eyes were fire. That never happened, she said. Got it, he said, breathless. Never could do it again. She glared. You're impossible, he smiled. And yet, don't. You're still standing here. From the vents. Oh! Both of them turned instantly. Vesra peeked out, grinning like a demon. I knew it. I knew you two would bed! Talara barked. Oh, come on! Let me now! Vesra vanished back into the vents with a giggle. Rex chuckled. You know she's never letting you live this down. I'll reprogram her memory if I must. He grinned. You won't. Why not? Because deep down you like that she remembers. Her glare softened. You talk too much. And yet, he said, you keep listening. Hours later, with the nebula fading behind them and the bounty hunters far away, the Maggie drifted into quiet again. Talara took the pilot seat. Vesra slept. Rex watched the stars. He leaned back, exhaling. You know, for two alien sisters and a half-broken human, we make a pretty good mess. Talara replied. A functional mess. The best kind. She smiled faintly. You're not as unbearable as I thought. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Tragic. True. As the stars slid by, he muttered, You think the universe ever laughs at us? All the time, she said. Good. Means we're worth watching. The ship lights dimmed for the night cycle. The nebula disappeared behind the hull. 3 misfits. 1 broken ship. Infinite trouble ahead. And somewhere between laughter, chaos, and quiet hearts, they found a strange kind of peace. A very human kind.